Erika Kirk panics after ex-boyfriend. Exposes private drama. Fired from TPUSA. You know how Erika Kirk spent years building this image of herself as the perfect conservative wife? The woman who never dated for 5 years before meeting Charlie, who didn't drink, who was too holy for the New York dating scene. Well, that entire story just came crashing down. Her ex-boyfriend allegedly leaked private photos that don't just contradict her carefully crafted narrative. They might actually destroy everything she's built since Charlie's death, including her position as CEO of Turning Point USA. And here's the thing that's got everyone talking. Some people are saying the timestamps on these photos suggest they were taken while Erika was already married to Charlie. If that's true, then we're not just talking about her lying about her past. We're talking about something way bigger. Visual note: show clips of Erika's CBS Morning interview. Let's start with what Erika actually said on national television. In her recent interview with CBS Morning, she made a very specific claim about her life before Charlie. She told the interviewer that when she lived in New York for 5 years, she never dated anyone, not once. She painted this picture of herself as someone who was above all that, someone who watched her roommate go through the terrible New York dating scene and decided she wanted no part of it. She went into detail about how she thought it was strange that people would go to drinks with one guy and then dinner with another. She made a point of saying she doesn't drink because she finds it unproductive, not because she's trying to be holier than anyone, but just because that's not how she operates. That was her exact message to millions of viewers. But here's where the problems start showing up. Erika appeared on Season 3 of the Bravo reality show Summer House back in 2018. The episodes were filmed in August of that year, both at a New York City bar and out in the Hamptons. And if you watch that footage, you can clearly see her drinking. So right there, we've got an inconsistency with what she told CBS Morning. Visual note: show Summer House footage if available, or images from the show. Now, people started digging deeper after that interview, because once you catch someone in one lie, you start wondering what else they weren't telling the truth about. And what they found was pretty interesting. Erika didn't just avoid dating in New York. She actually had at least 2 serious relationships before she ever met Charlie Kirk. The first guy people uncovered was Tyler J.T. Massey. He's a professional baseball player, and based on Erika's own words in an old interview with Arizona Foothills magazine, he was a pretty big deal to her. She called him her favorite human, her best friend, and her incredible boyfriend. Those are her words, not speculation. And some people who followed them back then believe they were actually engaged at some point. There's no marriage certificate that anyone's been able to find, but there are photos from what looks like an engagement shoot that went viral right after Charlie died. But the relationship that's really got people's attention is the one with Cabot Phillips. Because Kit wasn't just some random guy Erika dated. He worked directly under Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire as a senior editor. And if you remember, Charlie and Ben Shapiro had some very public disagreements about political pressure and donor influence. So the fact that Erika was dating someone in that exact circle while claiming she never dated anyone in New York, that's raising a lot of eyebrows. Visual note: show the September 2017 tweet from Cabot. Here's where it gets really uncomfortable. In September 2017, Cabot posted a tweet showing him and Erika on what he called a painting date. His caption literally said, "Yes, we're that couple that gets painting lessons together." That's not vague. That's not, "we're just friends." That's him publicly confirming they were in a relationship. And this was right around the time Erika claims her life was quiet, disciplined, and completely free of dating. Now here's the part that makes this whole thing even messier. There are photos from that same time period showing Cabot and Charlie together. They're playing basketball, they're socializing, they're moving in the same circles. Which means when Tyler Bohr introduced Erika to Charlie about a year later, supposedly for a job interview that turned into their first date, these people all knew each other already. And Tyler Bohr is another interesting piece of this puzzle. He's the one who set up that initial meeting between Erika and Charlie back in 2017. Bohr had just stepped into the COO role at TPUSA, and he arranged what was supposed to be a professional job interview. Except that interview somehow became their first date. But if Erika was still with Cabot at that time, or had just recently ended things with him, the timeline of how she and Charlie got together starts to look really different from the story she's been telling. Visual note: show footage from the 2015 Trump rally. Let's go back even further. There's footage from a major Trump rally in 2015 that people have been analyzing frame by frame. In the video, you can see Erika standing next to a man with a young girl between them. People started speculating about who that girl was and whether she might be connected to Erika's relationship with JT Massey. And in that same footage, you can actually spot Tyler Bohr in the bleachers. The same Tyler Bohr who would later introduce Erika to Charlie and who's now one of TPUSA's leading figures. So all these people were already connected years before Erika and Charlie supposedly had their chance meeting. That's what's got people questioning the entire narrative she's built. But let's talk about what's happening right now, because this isn't just about Erika's past relationships. According to multiple reports, her ex-boyfriend allegedly leaked private photos of the two of them together, and the metadata on those photos is apparently telling a story that completely contradicts everything Erika has said about her life before and during her marriage to Charlie. Visual note: generic image representing leaked photos, no actual photos. Now, we need to be clear here. These photos haven't been published in mainstream media because of how explicit they reportedly are. But the fact that they exist and that they're circulating in certain online forums has already done massive damage to Erika's reputation. Because remember, her entire brand was built on this image of purity and traditional conservative values. She wasn't just another political commentator, she was the woman who supposedly lived out the lifestyle she was telling other women to follow. And here's where things get really serious for Erika's career. Word is that TPUSA has been sending around internal memos using phrases like emergency meeting and leadership restructuring. People inside the organization are reportedly talking about Erika potentially losing her position as CEO. That's the same position she stepped into almost immediately after Charlie's death, which already rubbed a lot of people the wrong way at the time. Visual note: show TPUSA building or logo. But while all of this is exploding in Erika's face, let's talk about the guy who allegedly leaked these photos. Cabot Phillips has been staying pretty quiet about the whole situation. He recently launched a TPUSA tour called How to Lead Like Charlie, and he's moving forward publicly as if his connection to this entire mess doesn't exist, which is interesting because his ties to all of this go deeper than just being Erika's ex-boyfriend. Cabot's father is Tim Phillips, and if you don't know that name, he was a major player in Republican politics. Tim was the former head of Americans for Prosperity until he was suddenly forced out in 2021. The official reason given was personal impropriety, but the organization never provided any real explanation beyond a carefully worded statement. And after that, total silence. Nobody talked about what actually happened. Verify, confirm Tim Phillips' departure details and reasoning. Now, this is where we need to tread carefully because we're getting into speculation territory. But there's been a Reddit post floating around from someone who claimed to know the Phillips family personally. According to that post, the family ran what was described as a cult-like megachurch in Leesburg, Virginia. And when people looked into it, they found that Cabot's brother is actually listed on Cornerstone Chapel's website as an assistant pastor, overseeing middle school youth. And then there's this detail that people keep bringing up. Cabot has a pizza tattoo. On its own, that wouldn't mean anything. But Charlie Kirk publicly talked multiple times about believing that pizza was used as coded language by certain people to hide disturbing activities. So the fact that Cabot, who dated Erika and introduced her to Charlie, has that specific tattoo, people are connecting dots that may or may not actually connect. The question everyone's asking now is about timing. Why did these photos surface now? Why not a year ago? Why not right after Charlie died? If Cabot had these photos the whole time, What made him allegedly decide to leak them at this particular moment? Some people think he's had this leverage over Erika for years and is only now using it. Others think there might be something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. Visual note: show timeline graphic of key dates. Here's what we do know for certain. Erika publicly lied about not dating for 5 years before meeting Charlie. That's verifiable through her own social media posts, through TV footage, and through interviews she gave while in those relationships. She lied about not drinking in New York when there's video evidence of her drinking. And she constructed this entire persona that doesn't match up with the documented facts of her life. The photos allegedly exist, even if they haven't been published widely. The metadata on those photos reportedly contradicts Erika's timeline, and TPUSA is apparently in crisis mode trying to figure out how to handle this situation. What we don't know is exactly when those photos were taken. We don't know for certain if any of them were from during Erika's marriage to Charlie, although that's what people are speculating based on reported metadata. We don't know if Cabot actually leaked them or if they got out some other way. And we don't know what's going to happen to Erika's position at TPUSA. But here's what makes this whole thing so damaging. It's not just that Erika lied. It's that she built her entire public image on being different from other women, on being more disciplined, more godly, more traditional. She positioned herself as someone other women should look up to and model themselves after. And now all of that is falling apart because the foundation it was built on wasn't real. The people who supported Erika, who defended her when she took over as CEO, who praised her memorial speech for Charlie, they're now looking at all of this and wondering what else she wasn't honest about. And that's the real damage here. Once trust is broken like this, it's almost impossible to get it back. Visual note: show recent footage of Erika at TPUSA events. Erika's been trying to handle this by staying focused on TPUSA tour stops and keeping up appearances. But behind the scenes, reports say she's scrambling. The people she thought had her back are reportedly distancing themselves. The organization is allegedly preparing for major changes. And her reputation, which she spent years carefully constructing, is now completely shattered. So where does this leave us? Erika Kirk lied about fundamental aspects of her past. Her ex-boyfriend allegedly has photos that prove she wasn't who she claimed to be. TPUSA is in crisis mode, and the entire conservative media ecosystem that elevated Erika as an example of traditional values is now having to reckon with the fact that they might have been promoting someone who was selling them a fiction. The next few weeks are going to be crucial. We'll see if TPUSA actually removes Erika from her position. We'll see if she addresses any of this publicly, or if she just tries to wait it out. And we'll see if more information comes out that either backs up or contradicts the current speculation about those photos and their timestamps. But one thing's already clear: Erika Kirk's carefully managed image is done, and the damage to her credibility might be permanent. So what do you think? Was Erika deliberately deceiving everyone from the start, or did she just get caught up in trying to present the best version of herself? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to, stay updated on how this whole situation develops. Make sure you're subscribed because this story is far from over.